Hello. Hi, guys. So here we are. This is my room. I'm a simple girl. I simply need a fan, a garbage can, and a bed. And a mirror, of course. That's it. Hi, guys. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue on with this read for the night. I know that I've been really selfish with you guys and really just talking about, like, random stuff. So let's go ahead and focus. So the Three of Cups in the reverse, work celebration negative. Some of you guys were hoping, honestly, for like a better deal. Maybe you were hoping to be paid more. You were hoping to get more out of it. I'm sorry, guys. This phone is like turning and it's driving me nuts. Okay, so some of you guys were legit probably hoping to honestly get more out of whatever you were involved in. And you're, maybe whatever it is that you're doing is taking longer than you expected it to, and honestly, the pay may not exactly be as fulfilling as you were hoping it would be. Oh, I gotta put my dad on. Hang on. Love my dad. He's like, what are you doing with me off of your nectar? I don't know, Dad. Okay. So, okay, next. See what happens here. The Sun in the reverse. Some of you guys are just, Seven of Cups in the reverse. Some of you guys honestly need to get out and enjoy nature more. You're working really hard in, I just feel like as much as you're doing in your work life, you're not really feeling a whole lot of payoff. For somebody who works a lot and is used to having money, it may not feel like it's really fulfilling when all you're doing is what you usually do and what you're good at doing. So, some of you guys might be feeling honestly like this is just like making money for you, whoever I'm speaking to, might come naturally. What doesn't come naturally most of the time for people that make money would be maybe like love or having fun or a social life. So this year, we're all being asked to please step out of our comfort zone and try something actually, in the exact words, would be the opposite. So one way that I began this process with myself being a controlling person is I stopped choosing what we were going to do on days that we went and had fun. Like, for example, if I said, if somebody, like, well, like maybe we went to the lake. I didn't choose the lake we went to. If we went on a hike, I let somebody else choose the trail. Restaurants, let them choose the place. The point is here to try something new. You already know what works for you. Another thing that I'm still working on to this day is trying to be a little bit quieter when people are talking in a room. I'm typically the one who seems, when there's two people talking and you can tell that one of them is, two people are very dominant in a conversation, I'm the one that ends up overruling everybody and like takes over and finalizes the whole thing. It's not necessary. I already know what I know, and I've already said everything that I have to say many times. I'm not the type of person that actually needs help being assertive or being blunt or speaking my mind. I'm actually on the opposite end of this, and I'm the one who actually is being asked to tone it down, submit, be quiet. Where some of you guys are opposite of me and our kind, you're the ones that are always quiet. You never speak up for yourself. So this year is about honestly switching roles. If you're somebody who runs typically in your masculine energy, it's asking you to please channel into your feminine energy. As you guys know, the other night we took some tests and it said, do you run more on your masculine or feminine energy? And I've improved. I used to be 50-50. Think exactly 50-50 like a man or a woman, which honestly has been causing me a little bit of difficulty, I guess you could say, in my relationships, because obviously the man would typically like to be the ruler. and should be the ruler, in my opinion. I don't want to be overruling my man. So I've been having a hard time, honestly, learning how to submit and respect and allow somebody else to come in and tell me exactly what I'm going to be doing. I'm a firm believer in wanting to want to do what people are telling you to do. I'm not just going to do what people tell me to do. I want to do it. That's passionate, right? I don't want to just do what people say. I want to enjoy doing what people say. So I'm just learning, just like you guys are. And that's what life is about, is just trial and error. And honestly, just knowing like we're not perfect. We can't honestly control the outcome of things, but what we can do is evaluate the situations. We can know what has worked for us and what has not. And how do we know what has worked? Well, we ask ourselves, like, when this thing was occurring, did it make us feel good or bad? Plain and simple. Feel it. You just feel it. And that's why they ask you to please connect with the divine, to connect with the universe. Because right now, a lot of us that are especially hard workers and masculine energy runners, which I run 70% of my masculine. Wait, what did I say? Seven. Wait, what? Am I 70/30? Holy crap! I freaking went to 70% feminine. I cannot even believe it. Oh my gosh, I'm actually really surprised. I'm only 30. Dude, that I don't even know. I think that's probably I don't know. Is it a good sport? I think so. I, I'd say so because that way at least my man knows that I am 70% feminine and that there's this 30% about me that honestly can handle my own when he's not there. He knows that I can defend myself. He knows that I'm going to be responsible. He knows that if he needs me to take care of something, I can handle the job. I don't want to necessarily be 100% feminine or any other, I don't know exactly what the perfect ratio is, but what I do know is that when I'm 50-50, it can be a little difficult for my man to have control over me because I'm not in an energy where I allow that. So you guys need to ask yourself, in what energy are you? And are you capable of allowing somebody into your life to love you? There's a big difference between wanting to feel better and truly being ready and available to provide and offer somebody love. And it really doesn't matter, like, are you looking for something serious or are you looking for something simple? It's just really about, like, knowing what you are bringing with you into this relationship. Are you still grieving an ex? Do you have a lot of stuff going on that honestly is on your mind? And that stuff is very important. It definitely matters. And if you're thinking about it now, you'll be thinking about it then. And I'm just saying, out of the respect of the success of the relationship, resolve those things before you begin so that you can enjoy it. Okay? And don't be too, worried. Honestly, I wouldn't be too worried about taking things like that seriously. My sister, she just told me a couple of years ago. I had no idea. But she told me, she said, Tara, honestly, for the first year, I don't, not that she's even done this, but she gave me this advice, dude. My sister's a beautiful person. She's amazing. I love her so much. But her name's Tasha. She's the most best sister in the whole wide world. And so is Kinsey. They're both the most beautiful sisters I could ever dream of having. I'm just a lucky girl. I have so many wonderful people, including you guys around me. And you guys fill my heart with so much joy because you know what I know? I know that there's people out there that honestly want to feel better. There's people out there that are honestly struggling, suffering, and at the end of the day, knowing that my time makes you guys have hope and forgive yourselves for things that you really didn't do wrong. A lot of you guys are really hard on yourself, just like I've been and a lot of other great people have been, because you know what, we expected too much of ourselves. We expected, and that's the thing. Once you go through that lesson, there's so many lessons to go through, but you know what, expectation is a big one. One of the biggest mistakes that we honestly ever make in life, you guys, is expecting anything out of another person. That's just something that I realized, to be honest, like, relationships should be a lot like job interviews, and we should be having a resume where we come in prepared and we tell people, hey, honestly, at the end of the day, this is what the fuck I want, and this is how I react to when things don't go my way. This is my work ethic. This is my true hygiene, or the real amount of effort that I'm honestly going to put into it. And we don't do that. A lot of us like sugarcoat ourselves, and we make ourselves seem like we're so much better than we are, and like it's really just like setting us both, it sets you up and the person that you're trying to seduce up for failure for success. No, it sets you guys up for failure because it's built on a foundation of lies. And it can be a little bit awkward, maybe like wondering, like, is this person gonna like me for who I truly am? Honestly, that's the least of your worries. I'd be more worried about making somebody like you for who you ain't, and then honestly trying to figure out how you're gonna get out of a 3, 2, 1 year relationship. It doesn't matter how much time you spend on a fake ass relationship. The facts are is that you were not real when you begin. In many ways, the people are not real when they begin. Could be being in love with 2 or more people at the same time, being a liar, not having their stuff in order or their things together. They're coming in looking for savior. They're desperate. They're financially unable to provide for themselves, and it's just not joyful at that point. It's needy. It's desperate, and it's clingy, and it's random, and it's like when you connect with this person, it's going to be out of a sense of chaos, and because you know why it's coming from a sense of chaos, you guys? Because there's a main thing that you have going on that you have not resolved in your life. That thing has power. It is extremely powerful. Anything that has power over you that is unresolved is because of a reason, dude. Like, this thing cause trauma in your life. You might have anxiety, PTSD, depression, and that is what really freaking matters. Like, a lot of us think, oh, we're gonna start this next relationship, we're gonna feel better, we're gonna leave this bitch behind because they fucked me over. No, they did not, because we manifest what we are. I did not know that either. Life is legit continuous education, and it is the most important thing that you guys can ever have in your life is knowledge. Knowledge truly is power. That is not a saying that should go lightly. It is a very powerful and very informative piece of information, and nobody can take that away from you. The only way you can lose knowledge is to hang out with dumb people for long periods of time, because that's a fact. You 100% can get dumber by hanging out with dumb people. I've seen it happen. I'm not going to put names. Now, let's see what's going on. Dangerous waters. This person's no good for you. We need a new, let's put something on the backside of that card. Let's see. I did hear take a shot, but I'm not going to put that. Because some of you guys are recovering from drinking, and I truly respect that, so I do apologize, honestly, for anybody that's not a drinker or that is in recovery. And if you guys don't want me to do, you know what, I'm sorry, I'm not going to do it anymore, actually. You will not see me disrespect y'all, I hope, again, with drinking, because, I actually love you guys who are in recovery. I respect y'all who are in recovery, and it matters. Everything that you guys honestly feel and think matters. Do not ever for one moment think that you guys can't comment something on there. And if you guys want to message me and talk in private about anything, 509-601-2641. I am always available through text messaging. That's really the fastest way to get to me. I'm not really big on phone calls. And, I mean, you can send me an email if you want, but that seems a little bit professional. But, yeah, text is really, honestly, the best way to go about it. I can see my text messages come in from this watch, and even when I'm working with my clients or with my students, I'm able to actually just briefly look over at it, and I can handle it right from there. So that's really the best way to get a hold of me, but I want you to know that I am just like y'all. I'm a freaking dork, okay? I'm a work in progress, and I'm somebody who also is a failure and a success in whatever area, and you know what's interesting even more is that it's like you never really want to get too comfortable. Sometimes we think we got it all fucking figured out, and just like what you saw earlier on the videos that I posted about my theory on what I thought my theory was I not dude, when it comes to human beings on this earth, every time we think we've got somebody else figured out, we're blown away wrong at us. And it's crazy because sometimes we get to the end of this whole like theory journey and we're like wrong. And it can be a little bit, I know how it feels to be wrong and actually start wondering if you can trust yourself. Like, if when you're so certain of certain things and then you're wrong, it can be pretty unsettling. But it's also very humbling. It allows us to be able to continue to be open minded even when we think we're certain. And that's what I love about life, is that, well, everything is ever changing. It's a beautiful thing to be able to actually accept that, you guys. And when you're just so, you're like, you know what, honestly, at the end of the day, I've made a lot of judgment calls about things. I've I've thought for sure I was right about things, and there was several things, honestly, if I'm being honest, that I was wrong about. You're not actually opposed to calling anybody that you made a wrong judgment call with or over or for or on and saying, I am so sorry. I actually realized that I was wrong, and I want you to know that I just want you to know that. I do it all the time with anybody. Like, every single time I have a realization about anything, like a fight that I had with my ex, my mom, my dad, anyone, my sister, anyone. Try to call them and just text them. Even my old coworkers, my bosses, anyone. I always just say thank you for everything that you did for me. I just want you to know that I was going through something in my life. Sometimes I'm able to tell that person what it was. Sometimes I'm not. It just varies. And what it really varies on is really just like our maturity level, our ability to be open and honest and honestly comfortable with who we are. I'm gonna cough. I apologize. Excuse me. But something that I've learned is honestly like that. It really is just about maturity. And it's about understanding who we are, at what age we are, and with the circumstances that we are involved in, with who we are being led by in our lives. And just those simple little things like the 5 people that we surround ourselves with the most are who we become. Like, that's a big one. Let's just pretend you live in a home with people that are negative and fighting. I know many of us did. We were not actually surrounded by positive and healthy and successful people by any means whatsoever. We were surrounded by drug addicts and parents that were fucking fighting about how much they hated each other's guts. There was a lot of custody battles. There was a lot of addiction. There was a lot of just completely disgusting, inappropriate behavior going on in most of our homes. That's why we have this channel. Because I want you to know that, honestly, like, just because you were born into a situation that was not ideal or even comfortable or safe by any means, it was not fair. No, it was not fair that you were put in the situations that you were. It was never okay that anybody ever did what they did to you or treated you the way that they did. But you know what? You are amazing. And you are still capable of honestly deciding like where you want to go with this. Are you gonna let what has happened to you stop you from living your life? I'm not. I'm also not going to keep it a secret. I'm not going to put people on blast. I'm not trying to do anything in particular, but what I can say is that supposedly being honest and open about anything and everything and working through it and just being willing to like fail, because failure is a part of success. You have to be okay with not getting the results that you want. The point of the entire situation is to be able to evaluate and use your discernment and be able to decipher, this is all honestly at the end of the day for God and his work that he wants done. And you know what prosperity really is? It's truly teaching. It's teaching. For me anyway. Prosperity does not mean money. I mean, I love the ocean and I love traveling. I love all these great things. I would love to see the world, but do you know what prosperity means to me? And I'm not even kidding you. You being happy. And that's always been my dream. Since I was a little girl, I remember putting my hands in prayer, and we will say a prayer together tonight because I love you guys, and I hope that by doing these prayers together, you guys are feeling a little bit more comfortable and you have a more of an idea of how to speak to your higher power. My mom luckily taught us very young about how to pray, and she also did not require us to pick a religion. All she said is like, please have faith in a higher power. I'm not going to make you be religious. She never made us be baptized. She never said you're this or that. She just said, please have a higher power. And I love that about my mom because that is actually what the divine in the whole world honestly is being asked to do. And the reason why we're asked to have a higher power is because nobody can take that relationship from you. We lose our loved ones. We lose our siblings. We lose our lovers. We lose our parents. We lose our children. People die. Jobs come and go. Money's lost. Like, there's mistakes that are made. There's freaking a lot that goes on as we are living through the 3D. But what doesn't change is honestly like your faith. And that is honestly why people ask you to have a higher power. It's because it's invisible, it's untouchable, and nobody can honestly interfere with that. God's just saying, please have faith in me because at the end of the day, all these things on the material world, they will come and go. They will be gone sooner or later. And if you rely on them for who you think you are, then what will happen to you when they go away is devastation. And I can promise you that because I fucking went through it. I've went through it twice now. I went through it multiple times, but like in particular, I was like doing the wrong thing at one time in my life, and then the second time that it happened, I was doing all good things for 7 years straight, right? For 7 years, I was fucking doing everything perfectly right, according to the freaking whatever. And the boss that I was working for hung himself while I was at work, and I found him, and it fucking threw me into this whole spiral of PTSD. It was whack. It took me years, honestly, to actually recover from that event. It was pretty fucking horrible for me. I felt really messed up because I was the manager and I felt like, how did I not know that my fucking main man was honestly suicidal? I had to handle the whole crime scene and I had to come back to the school and run it until they decided what would happen to the school because apparently out of nowhere, ironically, even though all of his enemies were coming in to take over his business, ironically his will came up missing. So you can imagine the feelings I was having. I loved my boss. I'm all about business for anybody that knows me, so to see people fuck my boss over and fucking take over his business and have none of his wishes offered, it was horrible. And I was all clean and sober. I didn't drink. I didn't fucking do nothing. 7 years, period. All clean slate. Still lost, you know what I mean? And that day I remember. I was so sad. So sad, dude. I remember I was folding laundry at the dryer downstairs in the basement of my old house. And I just wanted Martin to be alive again. And he was the only one that honestly gave me hope. But I was still placing him over my higher power. I still was making him an idol. And that's what you guys need to understand, that whether it's a relationship or a job, sometimes we rely on something way too fucking much. And when we lose it, it's literally because it was a false idea of what we needed. That person had a false idea of what they needed. And they actually got to the point where some people don't live long enough to meet somebody like you and me to tell them, hey, I've been there. And you know what? At the end of the day, I'm going to tell you right now, the first thing I did after I found Martin's body was obviously I called the police. I was at work that day, so I drove back to the school, went to his office. I got into the file cabinet, and I removed every file that I wanted or felt like he would want me to remove. I took one photo of him and his best friend Paul DeGrioli. He always told me that he loved Paul. He said Paul was very successful and he was basically the person that he wished to be. So I remembered everything that my boss wanted and said, and I never forgot his most important things. And another thing that I took, I'll show you. I only took 3 things from my boss. Do you want to know something, guys? My boss, he left the whole school to me. They destroyed his will. But when I was working with the students one day on the clinic floor, I'd say maybe a week or 2 before he took his life, he came up to me out of nowhere and he said, Tara, if anything ever happens to me, I want you to know that you are the only person that I trust to take care of any of my papers. You're the only person that I want to run the school. Please, if anything happens. I said, sure, Martin. No problem. Of course I would. Why wouldn't I? I loved him. That Saturday when he walked out, he was in his black leather jacket. I gave him a hug like usual. He was, I just felt like he was my Agent Gibbs. He never came back. But I took, when I first started school, I remember going into his office and I sat in the other chair. And I saw this and it said Martin Dow. And I thought, I want to be that successful someday. I want to have a clock with my name on it, someday. I'm putting Martin Dow on the back of this, you little fucker. Are you shitting me? In your own pen? He's like, write on the card, write on the card. He told me that. But you know what? I could have had that whole school. Do you want to know something in secret, you guys? I had the file with his will in it. I had all the information that everybody was looking for. I took it home with me, and I finished out my last class out of respect, and I resigned from my teaching position out of respect for my students, because they pay $30,000 to learn from me. And I felt like they deserved the type of education and attention that they deserve. And I was going through PTSD. I just found a dead man. So, anyways, I did resign from the position, and I took a different leadership position elsewhere. I felt like I needed to remove myself from the environment, and it's been years since that happened. But that doesn't mean that I still don't love my people any less, or you know what I mean? I'm really honored, honestly, at the end of the day, that I had this opportunity. And to be around so many different CEOs and established people. And you know what? There's been at least 4 different CEOs that have asked me personally to take over their business. And I'm going to tell you right now what I love about that. I love that I'm just a regular old girl that grew up in a trailer out in the middle of nowhere that ain't got shit. But they see potential in me that nobody else did. And that is why it's very important for you guys to reach out, expand, and not to limit yourself. Everyone from my hometown told me not to move up here and to move home. They wanted me to do this degree and go to this college and pursue this program. And I switched. I went into education and I went into cosmetology, and I now teach college students and I run corporate salons. And I've been asked by multiple CEOs to please consider either renting their businesses or their properties and doing something with it, or to actually sign documents or take over different organizations if they were no longer available. And I have been asked to even move to Florida and take over schools, and even also in Minneapolis. And where is that motherfucker from? I don't even know. A whole nother state, too. I've been asked for many people in many different states. So, would that have come from my own friends and family that told me that where I was heading or what I was dreaming of doing was ridiculous? No, it wouldn't. That's why it's so important to honestly expand. When Martin asked me to be his manager of a school, do you know what? It's crazy. I couldn't believe it. I don't know why the fuck this card came out, but brother's wife, feminine energy. Y'all need, okay. If some of you are into your brother's wife, okay. I wrote this card originally because some Edward in particular, his brother, has a great, well, she has a decent wife. Well, no, he has a good wife. Do you know what? Bro, we'll talk about it later. Edward's brother did something to his wife. Anyways, I just wrote that card in basic because some of y'all might have a crush on your brother's wife, or you're jealous of the relationship that your brother and his wife has. Get over it. And don't even bother messing with your brother's wife. Like, that's disgusting. Do not ever fuck with your friends or your siblings. Partners. That is absolutely, completely inappropriate. Don't ever do that. Anyways, I love you guys, and we're gonna end this one. And if you guys need anything from me, just hit me up. I'm here for you. Honestly, I wouldn't be too worried about taking things like that seriously. My sister, she just told me a couple of years